Arrowverse Crossover Crisis Podcast with me, Ashley, your host. And today we are reviewing Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 from Episode 9, Season 1 of The Batwoman Show. Now, last week we did Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, and I gotta say I was slightly disappointed with that episode. This episode, I was also slightly disappointed with. I have some problems with it. I will try to remain as positive as I can, so let's get into it. So the episode opens with Sarah pouring shots out for Oliver. Kara doesn't want to accept Oliver's death, and she just really wants to try to undo everything and save Oliver and her Earth and all the people. And it actually brings up an interesting philosophy here Kara says, we should try to save all of the Earths that have been wiped out. We should save what we lost. And Sarah makes the argument that, or we could try to save what's left. And it's an interesting philosophy that they don't address, and they're not going to, really. But it's kind of like a hero's thing of, should we try to save what we couldn't save the first time and get it back? Or should we, try to just save what we can, what's left of life, really? And, it's something we sort of see in the MCU, right? With the Infinity War and Endgame, right? They couldn't accept what they lost, so they tried to save it, and ultimately it worked out for them. They got it back, which I suspect will be what happens with this crisis also. But, it's a valid point of maybe we should, just accept that, and maybe we should try to save what we have left. And I like that. Again, it's a philosophy that's not going to really matter, but I just thought it was interesting. I really do like Sarah. I think she's just an interesting character. She's intriguing. And then, of course, they need to get the Wave Rider because they need Ray Palmer's lab, and so Sarah says, the Legends, I told them they wouldn't do another crossover. And I don't really like using the word crossover in the show. That's just a little too meta for me. She could have said, I promised they wouldn't be, do another crisis or do another big team up. Crossover is that's just too self-aware for these shows, and I don't like the use of it. But I do like that they go to Earth 74, and they get the Wave Rider on that Earth, and instead of being voiced by Gideon, it's voiced by Leonard Snart. So we have Wentworth Miller, who doesn't physically appear in the episode, but he does do the voice of the Wave Rider, and it's a great little back and forth between him and Mick. And so Mick's running the Wave Rider on this Earth, and he's also working on his romance novels, which I thought was hilarious and just perfect for Mick. And it was a little fun, the Leonard Snart Wave Rider voice is it's his only novel he ever wrote. And so I thought that was really funny. And then, of course, he ends up reading the romance novel to little baby Jonathan, I think. That's what Lois and Clark's baby's name is, right? Jonathan? So anyway, there's a scene where the Monitor comes in and he's trying to give this explanation of the crossover, and the baby's crying, and Lois passes it to Clark, and then Clark passes him to Kara, and the Kara tries to pass it to Batwoman, but she just says no, and then so she gives it to Mick. And so it's kind of funny. Mick tastes the baby, and he's the one that ends up actually calming it down, stopping it from crying. And so, the rest of the episode, he's little babysitter Mick with the baby and reading him books, and it's just kind of funny. But then, of course, we get the Monitor, who gives out all of this exposition, and he says, he retrieved the Book of Destiny from the past, and it's revealed these 7 paragons, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's a second book, the Tome of the Guardians, and blah, 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 blah. And basically, it's just the exposition of, okay, this is what we're doing this episode. We need to find all these paragons. And it's also kind of frustrating to me. I don't understand why the Monitor just now thinks of trying to get back the Book of Destiny from the past. Why hasn't the Monitor known about these paragons this whole time? This is a guy that's been prepping for this crisis for over a year. These are things he should have thought of. I mean, I guess Oliver dying sort of threw off all of his predictions, but, if he's been prepping for so long, he needs to have a backup plan. It just makes no sense to me why he just now has the Book of Destiny back, and then, oh, we got to find these 7 paragons. That just, and especially if they needed the 7 paragons, if they always needed the 7 paragons, then that's something he should have known about beforehand. So it just doesn't make any sense why this all of a sudden is the time to reveal this information. And, he should have known about the paragons. Also, why aren't the paragons our heroes, right? I mean, Kara, it's revealed as the paragon of hope. Sarah's revealed as the paragon of destiny. And then eventually Kate is revealed as the paragon of courage. That's 3. We also have Barry, Oliver, and Ray and Black Lightning. That's 7 right there. Why couldn't have all of the show's main characters just been the paragons? Why we gotta go through all of this? And basically, it's so that we can have all these fun little cameos from other DC characters. But it's a little frustrating, as it should have just been the main characters of all the shows. He should have already known about the paragons. He should have already gotten the Book of Destiny back when it was destroyed. So it's kind of a frustrating scene. It does sort of set up what the crisis is going to be, forward, but I don't know. It's just a lot. And then there's a second book that Felicity found. Okay, I don't watch Arrow, so I don't know what happened to Felicity, but it just seems like it's just a lot. It's very messy. It's very messy from a writing standpoint, and I don't like it, but we have to accept it and move forward, otherwise we don't get the story. But anyway, so that's my little negative rant right there. So back to the good stuff, or sort of. So, we get Kate and Kara that team up together for the rest of the episode, which I like. I like Kate and Kara teaming up, KK. But I really do like them going to, on this journey to find the old Bruce Wayne. I do like Kara, when Lex Luthor is revealed, she calls out the Monitor's BS and says, I can't trust you if you think this is somebody we can trust. Monitor's doing some shady stuff. I mean, it's not good. So yeah, I'm with Kara. Don't trust the Monitor. But then we get Lex Luthor, who steals the Book of Destiny so that he can go run around and kill all the Supermans on all the Earths. I do like that we team Iris up with Clark and Lois. So I like that team up because, of course, Lois is a reporter. Iris is kind of a reporter with her own, sort of mini online newspaper. But, it's a good way. It's a good team. You put all the reporters together to go investigate this, lost Kryptonian, Superman. So I like that team up. And then, of course, we have Barry and Mia and Sarah that want to save Oliver and resurrect his body using the Lazarus Pit. So, first off, we have a really cute little scene with Barry and Iris, and I just want to say that, when the Flash show started, I really hated Iris. I did not like the character. She got a little bit better in Season 2, still don't like her and Barry together at all. And then she got a little bit more better in Season 3, and then by Season 4, I was really starting to warm up to them, and then Season 5 is really I started to feel them as a couple. And I gotta say, this season of The Flash and this crisis, I'm sold. They've sold me on Barry and Iris as a couple now. I think they're adorable. I love them, and I love them together now. And I never thought that I would say that, but I really do like the moments that they have together. And then, like I said, Iris running off with Lois and Clark. But we get Sarah recruiting Constantine, who I believe is now on the Legends show, and so he's going to help them find the Lazarus Pit, which is going to be on another Earth. And so I like bringing in Constantine. I never saw the first season of the actual Constantine show. I know he did a guest spot on an episode of Arrow. Fans really loved him, so they brought him back for the Legends show. But other than that, I haven't seen him. So I really like the actor here, and I like the role that he plays, and I like his sort of, version of magic, and it's, I don't remember that Keanu Reeves movie, but I know people weren't big fans of it. But, so I don't really know the Constantine character, but I do like him here. I like, he and Sarah kind of get along a little bit, but him and Barry had a little bit of friction, and it was just kind of cool bringing in somebody new again. And like I said, they weren't going to, said the Legends weren't going to do the crossover. But which we know they're going to do the last episode of the crossover, I believe. So we'll see more of the Legends there, but it's nice bringing in Constantine. I think he works in this role where his skill set using the magic can help try to bring Oliver back. So, yeah, I like that. But then we sort of shift and we get Kate and Kara going to Earth 99 to meet the old man Bruce. Now, Kate just kind of pulls out like a little portal, and it just got me thinking of, does every hero have these little portal push-button devices that does Cisco just hand them out? Like, oh, you're part of the crossover, here, you get one. Because Batwoman has one. Where did she get that? Did she steal it? Did she take Kara's? Like, I have no idea. It's like everybody has portal devices, just like everybody has, some sort of way of communicating with each other through the multiverse. I don't know. None of it's explained. But anyway, so we get them going to the Wayne Manor, and shirtless Luke Fox opens the door. I thought it was kind of funny. Kate calls out, oh wow, nice six-pack you got there. And Kara says, oh, he's kind of cute. And Kate's like, no, don't even go there. But then, of course, we get Old Man Bruce, played by Kevin Conroy, who I believe did the voice of Batman, who has done the voice of Batman in the animated stuff for decades. So he's playing this old Bruce that's in a exoskeleton suit. I believe is a reference to the Batman character from the Kingdom Come comics, which we'll get another reference to that. But, yeah, I don't like this old, dark version of Bruce. I just think he's too dark. It's crazy almost. So it kind of does take a really dark turn. It really does. We get, dark Bruce is talking to Kate, and he's so dreary, and he's so hopeless. And she's like, I need you to suck it up and be the paragon of courage and come back with me. He's like, no, this world's hopeless. Maybe all worlds should end. Like, just let it all end. He's telling her, I killed so many people and all this stuff. It gets really, really dark. And then, of course, Kara runs into his trophies of the past villains that he's killed, and she discovers the Clark Kent Superman glasses. And so, Luke Fox says, yeah, Superman put him in the exoskeleton, so Batman killed him. And it kind of reminds me of a little bit of the Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice movie. It's kind of like a little bit of that Ben Affleck Batman of really dark and perceives Superman as a threat. But yeah, it's so dark. And so eventually, he hits Kara because he's got kryptonite in his suit. And then, Batwoman, has to save Kara. And, she ends up accidentally killing old man Bruce. Again, it was so dark, and it just was really an unlikable version of Bruce Wayne. And maybe if you've read the comics and you understand the context of how he became this dark, maybe it makes sense within the episode of the show. It's kind of jarring a little bit, but I understand a lot of people really wanted to see Kevin Conroy as Bruce Wayne, so that was probably really fun for them. But it was really dark, and then of course Kara's like, I told you we couldn't trust the Monitor. And of course the Monitor said, if you go here, it'll lead you to the Paragon of Courage. And so, it's a little play on words, the Monitor's having a little bit of fun. And of course, he's not the Paragon of Courage. It turns out Kate was the Paragon of Courage. Like, we couldn't have predicted that. Anyway, then we switch to Earth 96, Metropolis, where we find Brandon Routh playing the role of Clark Kent Superman. And so this is a direct callback to Brandon Routh playing Superman in the movie Superman Returns, which I believe was a direct sequel to the Christopher Reeves version of Superman. So it's basically Christopher Reeves' version of Superman in, like 20, 30 years later or something. And so, apparently this is the Kingdom Come version of Superman. He's like the comics Kingdom Come. And I think there's a reference to, the villain gassed the Daily Planet and it killed everybody except for Superman. So I gotta say I like Brandon Routh as Superman. I think he kind of does a better version than Tyler Hoechlin does. So it doesn't really make the CW version of Superman look good. But Brandon Routh does a great job, and his eyes are blue, which I found was really weird, and I noticed Ray Palmer's eyes are not blue. So those contacts were just a little too blue for me. But other than that, I like the suit. I like his version. He does an interesting kind of Clark Kent, and it's different from what Tyler Hoechlin does. And I do like the Tyler Hoechlin version, but Brandon Routh just has more of a commanding presence when he plays Superman that I think Tyler Hoechlin doesn't have. And, he kind of even looks smaller next to Brandon Routh. But, of course, we get Lex Luthor pops up, and he, uses the Book of Destiny to kill, or to make Superman versus Superman so that they can kill each other. Yeah, we did this last crossover in Elseworlds. We had Evil Superman versus Superman. It was not great there. It's fine here because it's at least Brandon Routh, but we've done this before. Do we need to see it again? I don't think so. I think a lot of fans probably really enjoyed it, and Brandon Routh does make a reference. Oh, it's not the first time I fought myself, which I think is a reference to the Christopher Reeves movies. But we didn't need to see this here, and then Lois knocks out Lex, and then so she and Iris try to use the book, which I guess anybody can just use this book now. It's not going to melt your mind or anything, even though that was, I believe, a warning back in Elseworlds, or I think even a warning for Kara trying to use the book to do too much here. So maybe, I don't know, whatever. We just do these things because the plot needs it to do. But amongst all of this, we do end up with Lois, Clark, and Iris going to Earth 167, the Smallville Earth. And I say that because it's the show Smallville, Tom Welling as Clark Kent. And in this scene, he's only in the one scene, but in this scene, he's revealed that he gave up his powers somehow. So Kryptonite no longer works on him. He punches out Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor just lets him live for some reason. He says, "Oh, you took the fun out of it." Okay, but I don't know. Anyway, we get Erica Durance, who plays Supergirl's mom on Supergirl, and of course she's reprising her role from Smallville as Lois. So they're just a happy little farm family with some kids, a couple of girls, and he's just there chopping wood. I do like Tyler Hoechlin Superman says, I can chop the wood with just one hand. And, Tom Welling's there, like, using an axe with both hands. It kind of reminds me of what we tried to do with Hawkeye on the farm in the Marvel movies. We put him on the farm, we give him a little family, he just wants to retire. And then now, of course, Tom Welling's Superman has no powers. So is he even Superman? Probably not. So it's kind of a pointless scene, but it is nice seeing Tom Welling return to TV. Which I like. And of course they do, since Lex Luthor, doesn't kill him, he could come back. I would like to see him come back. I don't know how he would get his powers back. But I would like to see him come back maybe in the last two crossovers or something. Otherwise, it's kind of just a pointless cameo to just have a cameo, which seems to be what we're doing with these Crisis episodes. But it was fun for a little bit, and then we switch gears and we go to Earth 18, North Dakota, where the Lazarus Pit is, and they want to put Oliver's body in the Lazarus Pit. It looks like a small puddle of mud, so I have no idea how a Lazarus Pit works. But then we meet a version of the Jonah Hex character, who I believe Sarah has run into on the Legends show. And then, of course, she makes the joke of, oh, you're going to get this scar eventually, and she tries to, she kind of cuts his face. But then they throw Oliver's body into the Lazarus Pit, and it takes a while for it to work, but he does come back. Of course, his soul doesn't come back, so he's kind of a feral version of Oliver, which is interesting, and I don't know if they should have brought Oliver back so soon after he died, or if they should have just never killed him to begin with. We'll have to see where this goes. So that's kind of where that ends up with Barry, Mia, Constantine, and Sarah. And then, throughout the episode, Lila's been getting these headaches, and, at the end, it's, we understand that she's being recruited by the Anti-Monitor. And so we get the first glimpse of the Anti-Monitor. He looks pretty gross. He's, like, blue and pale, and he's deformed looking, kind of like the Emperor from Star Wars. So we don't know what kind of role that's going to play yet, but it's moving the story forward a little bit at least. So that's where the episode ends. There's a lot of good stuff in this episode. I really do love seeing the different characters interact with each other. Mick with the baby was great. Brandon Routh was great as both Ray Palmer and Superman. A good little joke there of, Ray, he looks like Ray Palmer, and, oh, Ray, you looking jacked. And they're like, nope, that's Superman. Ray's over there. So that was a fun little joke. But there's really not a lot of great stuff in here either. Like I said, I didn't like the Bruce Wayne stuff. I don't really care about the Lazarus Pit stuff because I don't know why we killed Oliver to begin with. The Monitor makes no sense. But there is some good, interesting stuff in here. And it just kind of, I just wish the crossover, these first 2 episodes are not off to a good start. They're okay, but, considering we had Crisis on Earth X, we had The Invasion, we had Elseworlds last year, which I really loved. This, to me, is a step down because it's a little convoluted, and we're just throwing a bunch of stuff in here, even though, half of it makes sense. But it's still, I enjoyed most of it. We're going to find out who the rest of the Paragons are, I think, because Kate is the Paragon of Courage. We have Brandon Routh, Superman's the Paragon of Truth. Sarah's the Paragon of Destiny, and Kara's the Paragon of Hope. So we have 3 more Paragons to find. Again, it would have made complete sense if the 7 Paragons would have just been the 7 main characters of the show. Why couldn't it just be that simple? But, it's fine. Let's see what the next episode does. Probably my favorite part, and this is maybe not, speaking highly of this episode, probably is Mick reading the baby his romance novel. That was just really funny, and I just love the idea that Mick, this, really hard guy who, has a flamethrower, he just wants to write romance novels. There's something very sweet about that. And so that's probably one of my favorite parts. I also did like Kate and Kara, KK, doing their little side journey, and, it's revealed Kate actually took some of the kryptonite from Bruce's suit, and we don't know if she's going to use that on Kara, but Kara wants to use the Book of Destiny to bring back Earth 38, her Earth, and the people that they lost. So, I did notice that missing from this episode was John Jones. Where is he? Because the Monitor said he was going to play a big role in the Crisis, and he's not in this episode. I guess he's with the rest of the Earth 38 people on Earth 1. But yeah, I hope we bring him back. He's supposed to play a big role. So, anyway, those are my thoughts of this episode. There's some good stuff in here, but overall it's still a bit disappointing. Hope the rest of the episodes get a little bit better. Let me know what your guys' favorite parts are in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the Crisis so far. Are you really enjoying it, or are you a bit disappointed like I am? Let me know. So that's it for this episode. And until next time, I will catch you in the next Crisis. Thank you all for listening. Here are my thoughts on the current episodes of The Flash, Supergirl, and Batwoman. Follow me over on the Stardust app at Crashly87, CRASHLIE87. For those bookworms out there, check out my blog, Fantastic Literature, link in the description below, for book reviews, short story reviews, and general thoughts about the literary industry. And if you like the podcast, be sure to follow, like, and share it. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.